Hello dear friends, welcome back again to another video from my YouTube channel. Dear friends, in our previous video, we have discussed about the post-fertilization structure and the events. Now, we have almost reached to the last concept of the chapter. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about the two very interesting, two very important concepts from this chapter. The first one is Apomixis. This we are going to discuss in this particular chapter, and the second concept is polyembryony. Polyembryony. Apomixis and the polyembryony. Listen very carefully. Apomixis, it is a combination of two Greek words. It's a combination of two Greek words. What are the two Greek words? The first one is apo. Apo is the first Greek word, and the second word is mixis. Mixis. They are the two Greek words. Apo and mixis. Together it is apomixis. Now what is apo? Apo means in Greek away from. Apo means in Greek away from. Mixis means mixing. Mixis means mixing. Away from mixing. Can we consider this mixing as a fusion also? Fusion means also mixing. Whereas fission means different. F-I-S-I-O-N. Fission is different and fusion is different. Fusion means combining the things, mixing the things. Here, apomixis means away from mixing, away from fusion. That means apomixis can be defined as it is a process in which seeds are produced. Seeds are produced without fertilization. Seeds are produced without fertilization. That means the formation of seeds without fertilization is called as apomixis. Here, the name itself giving the meaning, my dear friends. Fertilization. What do you mean by fertilization? The mixing of male and female gamete. If there is no fertilization, means there is no mixing. That is nothing but away from mixing. If there is no fusion of male and female gamete and the seed get developed without the fertilization, then such process is called as apomixis. This apomixis, it was first discovered by a scientist. His name is very important for competitive exam. His name is Hans Winkler. Hans Winkler. He discovered the apomixis phenomenon and he defined the apomixis phenomenon in the year 1918. In the year 1918, he described the apomixis phenomenon for the first time and he defined the apomixis and he observed the apomixis for the first time. This is about the apomixis. The definition is very, very important for competitive exams as well as for board examination. And this apomixis, it is not a sexual reproduction, my dear friends. Apomixis is asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. Apomixis is not a sexual reproduction. Why it is not sexual reproduction? Because there is no fertilization here. Without fertilization, that is why it is a asexual reproduction. Apomixis is a asexual reproduction that mimic the sexual reproduction. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि अपोमिक्सिस एक असेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन है जो कि सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन की नकल कर रहा. It is doing a mimicry of sexual reproduction. ಅಪೋಮಿಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಅಲೈಂಗಿಕ ಸಂತಾನೋತ್ಪತ್ತಿ. ಅದು ಲೈಂಗಿಕ ಸಂತಾನೋತ್ಪತ್ತಿಯ ಅನುಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡಾಕತ್ತದ, ಅದರಂಗ ಅನುಕರಿಸಾಕತ್ತದ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅಪೋಮಿಕ್ಸಿಸ್. Majority of the friends, they get confused between three very important words because it is repeatedly asked in the competitive exams, my dear friends. The first word is parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis. And the second word is parthenocarpy. And the third word is apomixis. Apomixis. In majority of the competitive exams, the question may appear like whether parthenogenesis and apomixis are same. Justify. Whether parthenogenesis and apomixis are different, then why? Like that the question may appear. All three of these concepts, they seems to be very similar, but they have a minute difference between them. Let us try to understand this concept, and this concept is completely for our competitive exams. Competitive exams. Sometimes in the board examination may also ask this question in the form of applied questions. Let us understand what is parthenogenesis. In parthenogenesis, female gamete get developed into an individual. Female gamete get developed into an individual without fertilization. That means no fertilization. Without fertilization, if the female gamete get developed into an individual, why I am stressing this individual, why I am underlining this individual, it is very, very important. In parthenogenesis, female gamete is getting developed into an individual without fertilization. Whereas in parthenocarpy, here the ovary get developed into a fruit. Ovary get developed into a fruit without fertilization. No fertilization. In parthenocarpy, fruits are formed without fertilization, whereas in parthenogenesis, individuals are formed without fertilization. Here fruit is getting formed, here the individual is getting formed. The difference is very minute, but it is very, very important. Apomixis. In apomixis, the ovule get converted into seed without fertilization. In all the three types of concepts, we have one common factor, that is without fertilization. In parthenogenesis also we don't have any fertilization. In parthenocarpy also we don't have any fertilization. In apomixis also we don't have any fertilization. But the end products are different. That is why they are given with a different names. In parthenogenesis, individuals are formed. In parthenocarpy, fruits are formed. In apomixis, seeds are formed without fertilization. Don't get confused between these three concepts. Now, let us move to the last concept of this chapter, that is polyembryony. As the name itself giving the meaning, poly means many. Poly means many. Embryony means development of embryo. If many embryos get developed into the seed, then such concept is called as polyembryony. How we can define the polyembryony? Occurrence of many embryos in a seed, it is called as polyembryony. The definition is very important for board examination. The occurrence of many embryos in a seed is called as polyembryony. This polyembryony, it is very common. It is common in gymnosperms. It is common in gymnosperms, whereas it is rare. It is rare in angiosperms. It is very common in gymnosperms, whereas it is very rare in the angiosperms. The best examples that we can quote for polyembryony is citrus, orange. They are the examples of polyembryony. This polyembryony, it was discovered by a scientist. His name is discovered by a scientist. His name is Leeuwenhoek. This is the name of the scientist who discovered this polyembryony in citrus plant. Leeuwenhoek discovered this polyembryony in the year 1719. In the year 1719, he discovered this concept in the citrus plant. Now, one thing that we have forgot to mention here is Apomixis is generally seen. Apomixis is generally seen in Asteraceae family, families, Gramineaceae families, Poaceae families, Rosaceae families, Rutaceae families. They are all the families of the plants, and the members of this family, they show the apomixis. Approximately more than 350 plants show the apomixis. They show the apomixis. Approximately 350 different varieties of the plants, they show the apomixis. The concept is very simple, my dear friends. Apomixis means development of seed without fertilization. Polyembryony means occurrence of many embryos in a seed is called as polyembryony. I hope you people have got an idea about both apomixis and the polyembryony. This completes your second chapter, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. From today onwards, we'll start with the new chapter, human reproduction. Thank you so much.